Hello, everyone. This is me. I wasn't expecting to come on, really. I wasn't. But I have been watching a movie and I was just spontaneously guided towards that movie. I don't think it's spontaneous. I believe I was supposed to watch this movie today. Excuse me. So I started to watch Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams. Has anybody ever watched that? Field of Dreams. Has anyone ever watched Field of Dreams? Let me know in the chat. So here I am, the leading Indigenous spiritual teacher. I've been doing this for about 28 years. I've been leading a lot of intuitives and healers into this work to unleash their Indigenous intuition, to channel their own gray wolf, to raise the vibration on the planet, and also to teach other powerful light workers. That's very important for me. And teach clairvoyance and mystical mentors who really want to, go into really go into mastery. Into their own spiritual business. So everybody is saying yes. If you're on my Indigenous business page, make sure you like my video, you love it. This is not really scripted. I haven't written anything down. This is me sitting. I'm in my comfy shirt right now. I'm in my living room. Yes, my door is not done yet. I'm going to get that done this summer. That door is not done. That's okay. I'm not going to hide anything. And my green is going away. Anyways, get back to what I was talking about. So here I am watching the Field of Dreams. I'm watching the Field of Dreams. I was led to it. I always believe in my guides, especially. They lead me to something. And I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be talking about this subject. When I was watching this, and I'm up to the point where Ray Kinsella has actually built the baseball field. And then he heard, he's been hearing voices, right? And people are starting to think he's nuts. Kind of leads into my work. I was a very successful elementary middle school teacher for 12 years. And then I rose up to education administration, where I worked in Indigenous communities and also Inuit communities, right? So I did that for a very long time. I got the degrees. I got the fancy degrees, and went into teaching. Then I outgrew it. I really did. I outgrew it. Not to say that it wasn't any, it wasn't for me anymore. It wasn't calling to me anymore. It was just not in me anymore. And I'm sure you've been in a corporate job or a job where you feel like, something is telling you inside that there's more. That you've probably been dabbling in oracle cards and, maybe you've been doing readings, or maybe it's been on and off, Hey there, Charmaine. Hello, Diane. If you build it, they will come, right? Exactly. If you build it, they will come. Hello, Carol. Hi, Frida. So yeah, let me get to the point. So until I heard a voice, okay, I was into meditation. This was in my third year university. Hi, Susan. I was in my third year university, and I was getting into Hay House and a lot of self-help books. I read a lot. I did. And then excuse me. I read a lot. And then I don't have any makeup on. This is just real me. Um, so I started to meditate. Didn't know how to meditate. I heard about it, but then I started to meditate. I didn't really like it. I didn't really like meditating. I gotta be honest with you. Didn't like it at all. I was very fidgety. I didn't realize I was drinking way too much coffee. Really unhealthy lifestyle. Anyways, when I started meditating and focusing on myself for a change, I was focusing on myself for a change. And then I'll get back to what I was saying. When I was working on myself, I was reading a lot, and I also was doing readings on the side. And then when I started meditating, this is where it gets really interesting. I started meditating. I was very consistent with that. I was very dedicated. I was very laser focused. Okay. I was very laser focused. And then I started to notice something had changed. Until I heard a voice, until this voice really changed my life. It really changed my life. And I'm not bullshitting you. I don't know if I can say that. Then I started to notice, just like Ray Kinsella on Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner was hearing voices, right? And he was being accosted. He was being laughed at. Hey, Lorraine. That actually happened to me. It's eerie. It's the same thing that happened to me. And I really had to be hush hush about a lot of things because a lot of people were very unconscious back then. This was in 2006, at 2000, maybe 2005. 2005, people were very, where I was, anyways, where I was living, very traditional, very much going by the rules. And it was not much mentioned, especially around Lennoxville, Sherbrooke. They were very traditional. So that made me a little nervous about sharing my gifts and sharing my story. And I didn't really share it that much. I was studying fine arts, so I don't think that was much of a problem. But then when my professor really, when my professor told me to share it more often, it got me a little scared, but it got me very encouraged and motivated. Okay. So I started to read. When I started to hear a voice, I had heard a voice when I was a kid, and then I shut it down. I say that a lot in my videos. I shut it down just so my family wouldn't be scared. That's what I did. I didn't want them to be scared of me. And I didn't want people to talk about me in the community. So I just shut it down for their sakes so they would have a normal life. I went along with my normal life, went to school and everything. When I did meditations, let me go fast forward. When I started meditating very regularly, and how I did it was very different from everybody else. It was very different because I'm very much ADHD and OCD. And I share that openly with everybody. It's just who I am. Anyways, so I'm a bit of a squirrel brain. I have a squirrel brain, okay? It's like, woo, red ball. So I'm very much like that. Anyways, when I had started listening to the voice that was talking to me, mind you, I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was losing my mind, but I wasn't. I really wasn't losing my mind at all. It's just I was opening up my my clairaudience and my clairvoyance, but my clairaudience was very strong with me. So I heard a voice. I heard it nonstop, but my readings were quite different. Were very different from everybody else because I was hearing guides. I didn't realize I was hearing the spirit realm. I didn't realize that was happening to me. It was just like, it was like I was a little kid again when I was hearing voices. When I was hearing voices, it was specific. They were talking back to me. So I was like, no, I'm not schizophrenic. I rolled that out. and, and then my readings, then I started to repeat what my guide was saying, Grey Wolf. So he was my main guide. I repeated it. There's a lot of deep stuff that I would say to people, and they would be like, how do you know that? Did you Google me? Because Google was just coming out that back then. And I'm like, I didn't know what Google was, to be quite honest. I'm like, what's Google? Well, it's like a search engine. You could just, I said, no, I never did that. But there's some things, you can't Google, right? And they're like, I don't have anything like that on Google or, Facebook or anything like that. My life really changed at that point. I believe I was accepting more of what was going on within me. And so a lot of people were asking after I had read them, like, how do you hear so well? How do you hear specific things about people? And that's why I'm talking about field of dreams, right? When Ray was starting to spontaneously hear things and see things. So he was hearing a voice. If you build it, he will come, right? The other one is ease his pain. That is pretty much what happens to me. It's the same thing. I hear a very subtle whisper. Because whenever I read people, I have to get very still and quiet. I have to concentrate. And it's just like that. But I do it on command. It's just, when I read people, I just know which channel to tune in, right? So a lot of people have asked me this question, like, how do you hear so quickly? Like, how can I become clairaudient? How can I hear the spirit realm? So a lot of people have asked me this question many times. And they're like, can I do that too? Good question. How many of you are interested in that? Because a lot of people have asked me that. How have you heard spirit so well? How do you get so spot on or specific with things? Because some people will doubt themselves and say, well, how accurate can I be? How do I get to that point? It has taken me practice. I had to practice. To be quite honest, I've had to practice. But I've learned over 28 years how to really shorten the learning curve, if I could say that. Okay. And so anyways, I'm just going to get a little bit comfortable here. And so there's a lot of things I had to do, but the first thing I had to do in order to become really good at building my business was trusting that part of me. That part of me I had to trust. So how many of you are here who really want to take this to the next level? I just want to make sure that I'm checking my time because I have a student at 5. How many of you really want to bring this to the next level? Sorry, that's how many of you are saying, I really want to have a very profitable spiritual business where I could take my laptop or my iPhone and go anywhere with it? and have your schedule booked up, right? And not lose yourself. How many of you are like that, are saying, yeah, I would love that? Lorraine is saying, me. It does take commitment, and it reminds me of the Field of Dreams, where he had to listen, right? He had to listen to what he was getting, even though he was like, oh my God, I'm going to, at first he was doubting it, right? It was a lot like that for me when I got the guidance to build my spiritual business. And I had the same doubts, and Ray had to take down all of his crops, right? And then now it's come to a point where they're at a council meeting and people are starting to say things about him, right? It has happened to me, but I've learned to keep my cool. I've learned to keep my cool. I've learned to just say, you know what? This is who I am. This is what I do. And I'm in service of others. I am serving people. I'm serving my people. I'm looking at some of you are coming over here. Rebecca says, I have a meditation time almost every day, even if I have to make it happen. I have to now. It took me years to get to that. I don't know. So Rebecca, are you looking for are you building your spiritual business? Has it reached at a comfortable place where you're getting consistent clients coming in? I like to know that. Nola says, I have been wanting to do a holistic healing place, and I recognize spiritual plays a big part. I believe I'm being guided. You're being guided to me. You're on here, you're being guided to me. We should talk, Nola. I really love your name. Marlene says, this is new to me, open to learning. Great. I would love to talk to you. So I have my Indigenous Priestess School. Okay. I have we have a meeting in about 20 minutes. I have 9 more openings if you would like to talk to me and get this going. I'm only looking for people who are ready to go all in, like full all in, just like Ray did. He tore down his whole cornfield and people are watching him, right? People were watching him. They're saying, oh my God, what's he doing? And then they started talking, him and his wife were talking in the movie, like, we're going to lose our farm. But he was listening. He was listening to that voice, that still voice that says, if you build it, they will come. And that pretty much sums it up for me. If I had listened to my intellect that says stay in that job that I really didn't like, I had outgrown it, to be quite honest, I don't think I would be happy like I am today. I don't have to travel to a job. I stay in my home and I work from my home, and it's on my own terms. I don't have to clock in and clock out. I don't have to put my head down and wait till vacation time comes up. I make my own vacation. People come to me. So if you're out there scrambling along and trying to find people to come, you're going in these Facebook groups and looking for people, and it's not working, and you're trying to do this organically, and you're trying to do this all, and you're getting exhausted and nothing's coming in, and you're just spending and spending and spending and nothing's coming in, I can help you with that. I can help you with coming back to yourself and you not burning out. It has happened to me. It doesn't happen anymore. So if you're interested, I will put the link in here. I'm just going to put the link right here. If you would like to book a free soul strategy session. I'll put the link right here. My dogs are coming. You can hear my dog walking around. See here, you put it right here. It should come in. So I have some openings if you would like to talk with me. And if you really want to get into those, you know, like for me, I think the other day I made like, last week I made like 12K in one day. So it's possible for you. It is really possible. So if you're interested and you're like, yeah, I want to do it this way. Hey there, Karen. And I do it the indigenous way. Okay. If you want to know more, make sure that you book yourself. That's my dog. Dogs always know when you're online. He's just staring at me. All right, everyone, I got to go. I'm going to go on my call. And there's the link. Okay. There's the link right there. And I can't wait to talk to you. All right, everyone, you have a good day. And I'll talk to you soon. Up na multas.